The Premier League is back tomorrow as West Ham United take on Newcastle United. But tonight we're taking a look at the latest transfer West Ham rumours. I've got my pink notebook, it's on the desk, it's ready to go. But there's two big stories that are featuring heavily among the West Ham world. One's Declan Rice and one's James Tarkowski. We're going to take the Declan Rice one first. There's a lot of reports today. It's really gathered a bit of momentum today, hasn't it? I think the main thing is that the likes of Matt Laws get involved, who are a bit more reliable than what we've maybe seen in the past for the rumours, and that is that Mendy's away to join Chelsea, the goalkeeper from Rennes, and once he's joined, there's only one position left for Frank Lampard, and that's defensive midfield, and the number one target is Declan Rice. Now that rumour, that part of the rumour if you like, is consistent throughout all the people that are claiming to have information and bids and stuff. It's ranging from as low as 45 million from that Nico, the Italian journalist that he knew a lot about West Ham when Pellegrini was here, but his sources about West Ham seem to have dried up when our Italian coach conveniently left at the same time as Pellegrini. Could just be a coincidence. I'm not sure it is. However, he is pretty reliable. He jumps the gun a little bit. When he says our deal's done, it's not really done, but I think when he said there's interest, I think that's usually genuine. But he was saying that Chelsea are looking at around about 45 million. And then we've got others that are reporting that Chelsea are looking at Barkley plus 40 million because they value Barkley at 30 million, so it would therefore be a 70 million transfer in their eyes. And then there's others that suggest that Chelsea are being priced out of it because West Ham are sticking to their guns, which is 80 million in euros, that is. So there we go, that's the latest gossip. My opinion on this, I've seen that Inter Milan had a bid for Conte rejected midweek, which is big. I think if him or Jorginho go, I think that's really going to step up Chelsea's interest in Declan. Bakayoko has also been told to leave. We knew that. We knew he'd be leaving. But Chelsea are expecting to get a big fee for him as well. So the money will be coming back to Stamford Bridge. Now that they've got Chilwell, Alonso and or Emerson could leave too. You'd imagine Kepa is now up for sale. So they're going to start to have some big sales going out of Chelsea. That's going to fund the Declan Rice bid. I believe the interest is genuine. I think we've all believed the interest is genuine. It's just a case of will the bid come this summer or next summer, and how much will the bid be? I still expect him to go this summer. I didn't think we'd see him in a West Ham shirt again. Obviously we are, but I'm not convinced we're going to see him in a West Ham shirt after the transfer window shuts on the 5th of October. I do expect him to be a Chelsea player. If he isn't, great, fantastic. We're keeping a hold of a top prospect, one of our best players, to be honest. If he does go, I just hope we get top dollar for him. I've accepted the fact he's leaving this summer or next. I've accepted that Declan will not be at West Ham for more than a year. It's now about getting the right deal for him, and I still think 70 million is a fair price for both parties. It's difficult to gauge, isn't it? Because you've got to look at similar deals to get like a bit of a barometer for the price, and you look at Chilwell for 50 million, so you think maybe 70 is a bit much for Declan, but then you remember Maguire went for 80, and all of a sudden you're thinking, so somewhere in there I think it's a fair price. I do think 70 is what we should be aiming for at West Ham. If it was less than that, I'd be a bit disappointed. And then it just becomes how do we replace him? How do we spend that money? That's a conversation for another day. So that's the transfer rumour with Declan Rice, and I think it's just gathering more and more pace as the days gone on, and more journalists and in the knows are getting involved and whatnot. So there might be something on the horizon. And then Tarkowski, the Burnley centre back. I was away when it broke on Friday night. I was away, so I phoned Gonzo and said, do a live stream now. I think he's a top defender. I think he's one of the best defenders of the league. I think if we signed him at West Ham, I think he'd sort of become our best defender, just like that. But I don't think he's worth 50 million. Burnley are wanting £50 million for him. We've had a £30 million bid rejected. Moyes did his press conference earlier today and said that we cannot afford 50 million, which is obvious, I think. But he's going to say that, isn't he? Because he needs to drive Burnley's price down. There's a lot of rumours or reports that we're going to meet in the middle somewhere. 35 to 40 million is a biting point for Burnley, and I would be surprised if they didn't take 40 million. I'm not convinced he's worth 40 million to West Ham. I think he's worth 40 million to Burnley easily. I think he's a fantastic player. He's coming into his peak years and stuff, but I don't think he's worth 40 to us. If we've got 40 million to spend, I'll be a bit concerned if we're going to throw it all on a centre back and not divvy up between 2 or 3 positions and try and get in adequate players to fill those roles. I'm a bit worried, truth be told, about this deal. Not the player. I think, like I said, I think he'd be a success at West Ham, but just the whole chucking all our money at one player and for a position that I don't think is that important. However, a lot of people have suggested that going for Tarkowski would suggest that Moyes is maybe looking at going 3 at the back. And I wonder if he's perhaps spending Declan Rice money, to be honest with you. I do wonder if he's Tarkowski's Declan Rice's replacement. Now, obviously, not in centre midfield, but to put him at the back and then go 3 at the back, and it sort of takes away the pressure. Because Declan protects the defence, but you've got an extra defender in there. You can almost allow yourself to have 2 centre midfielders in front of that, or 3 centre midfielders, I should say, in front of that defence, and your sort of dedicated defensive midfielder doesn't become so much of a necessity. So I don't know if Moyes is looking at replacing Rice by altering the formation and removing Declan's position altogether so that we don't need to get a player. I'm aware in that midfield 3 in front of defence you need just someone that's switched on defensively, but I do think you get away with maybe 3 all-rounder midfielders than dedicated roles like we're currently got at the minute. I don't know, it's all a bit of guesswork, but there's another rumour that sort of backs this up. I don't think Moyes wants to go 3 at the back until now. I'm starting to think maybe he does, but there have been people that have been leaving comments all summer suggesting that Moyes is going to go 3 at the back, and the rumours as of today would perhaps back that up. Other players being linked with, we're going to skim through a couple because they're a bit stupid. Marcelo Brozovic, the Inter Milan defensive midfielder, he's not coming. He's one of the he's had a fantastic season last season, getting to the Europa League final with them as well. Just missing out instead of he's not coming to West Ham. Ignore that one. Lucas Masopust. I mentioned him earlier. The name rings a bell, from Slavia Prague, the winger. The report was that we've had a £5 million bid rejected for him. I can't see it. I just can't see us going for a winger. It would just defeat the whole purpose of selling Dean Garner, really. Selling Dean Garner means we cannot sign a winger now, I don't think, because if we need a winger, why did we sell Dean Garner? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, Yarmolenko. He's been linked with a move away to Chinese club Shandong Luang. No price mentioned. And the price is a big part for me here, because if it was 15 million, I think you'd have to take it. If it was 8 million or less, I'd be a bit unsure. I'm aware he's injury prone. I don't think the transfer has been a success. I don't think you'd call it a success. But I think he's a top player. I think when he's fit, I think he's one of our better players. I think he's scored big goals for us. I think the difference between him and a lot of other players in our squad, his goals have 1 points, which earn millions for the club. So I would almost argue that his goals have almost paid his wages, maybe not his transfer fee, but certainly his wages for the year. While he's missed 80% of the season, in the 20% he's fit, he almost does enough to financially pay his wages for the whole year. I know it's a funny old way of looking at it, but I just think when he is on the ball and he's available, he contributes a lot to us. But it's not often enough, and that's why I could see why the temptation to cash in on would be there. It's last chance saloon to get some money for him as well. He's not young, is he? And this leads me back to the Tarkowski thing. This surprises me because Moyes has given it the big one about how he wants a young, hungry squad. And now we're away signing a player in his peak, so he'll be an instant success. However, you're only going to get a couple of years out of him before you sell him to get the money back, or you're just going to have to accept that we're going to not get our money back for him. And this is why we're in the problem that we're in now financially. You look at players like Yarmolenko, where you buy him knowing that you're not really he's not going to have a resale value. You're not going to make a profit on him, are you? And I think this is what we're doing with Tarkowski, and it concerns me a little bit. I don't see how we could make a profit on James Tarkowski. I don't think we would. Even if he came in and was unbelievable all season, got into the England squad, his age is now on the sort of, it's at the peak. He's at his peak, isn't he? He will be 28 in a year's time. Therefore, the most you're going to get is probably what you paid. And it's just a little bit short-sighted. And I don't blame Moyes for this. I've always said Moyes can only focus on the next 12 months. He's only got a year left on his contract. So I don't blame him for buying players that are going to come in today, make an impact tomorrow, and not really worry about the future for now. I think Tarkowski fits that. Jack Wilshere, the talks that we're going to be having a little negotiation with Jack and trying to get rid of his contract. That was until David Moyes did his press conference earlier and said he doesn't know what that rumour is, and he's dismissed it, saying that he thinks Jack's a fantastic footballer, etc., etc. I still think we would be looking to rip that contract up. I don't believe Moyes on this one. I think Jack's costing the clubs millions a year. There's an opportunity to get him off the books and save half his wages. I think the club would take it, to be honest with you. Robin Gosens, that's the last player we're going to discuss coming in. There's one more point I want to make, I'll get on to that. But Robin Gosens, the Atalanta left wing back. This fits into the 3 at the back system. He's the left back we're being linked with, but Atalanta play 3 at the back system that they have done. He's been their left wing back and very good at it as well. So if we were to go target him, and this link was genuine, and I believe it is because this is from Extra Time employee, and I tend not to doubt his information, to be honest with you. So if he is our genuine target, then you're not going to play him left back, are you? Why would you sign a left wing back and put him in a position which you haven't seen him in? It's a bit risky. It might work. He should be able to do it, but it's a bit risky. Full back and wing backs are completely different positions. Anyone that's played either or both of those positions in general will know that they're completely different roles. You can tell by watching it. Marcos Alonso as a wing back is fantastic. As a full back, he's awful. You probably screaming Masuaku at me. Masuaku is probably tailor-made to be a wing back, but as a full back, nah. And this, if we were to go for someone like Gosens who's been playing as a wing back, you would have to assume that Moyes perhaps is eyeing up a formation switch. If not, I think he's taking a bit of a risk. And the last rumour was, again, from X's podcast during the week when he said that Moyes is still drawing up a list of targets. And that concerns me a little bit. We kick off the season tomorrow. I know we don't have any signings, but he's known to dither in the transfer market. I do think he's lucky that David Sullivan is hated as much as he is. Otherwise, I think there'd be a bit more pressure on him. Saying that, I don't think he's been adequately backed as yet. The money, we had to sell it in Ghana for 18 million. We've got between 5 and 10 million for a Jetty and Hugo, and by the sounds of it we've got 30 million to spend, which would suggest Moyes had a budget pre-sales of about £5 million, so it's not very much. However, I'd be surprised if the transfer targets weren't already drew up. I think the big question is if we don't get Tarkowski, because the rumours are he doesn't want to move to West Ham, that he wants Champions League football and he doesn't want to move south anyway. So if that is true, who's our second choice? Because this is going to be important. If we don't get our first choice, you've got to make sure you go get your second choice as well. The reason James will come to West Ham is because of money. I don't have an issue with that, to be honest with you. Why would you come to West Ham? Either it's a step up from a lower league, you want to move to the Premier League like Solskjaer, you want to come to the Premier League and we're offering it to you, or you're coming for money, really. And James isn't going to be stepping up coming to West Ham. He's already in the Premier League, so that only leaves us one incentive, which is money. Because as terms of a club going places, we're no further on than Burnley at the minute, are we? We're behind Burnley as it stands today. So anyway, that is your latest West Ham transfer rumours. We're back. We've got loads of videos tomorrow as we take on Newcastle United tomorrow night. The preview. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Myself and Gonzo had our talking game preview of the Newcastle one. As normal, looking forward to the content, looking forward to the matches being back, and I shall speak to you tomorrow. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like on it, subscribe if you're around here, and I'll catch you in a bit.